I can cut it all out later. Don't worry about it picking up background noise.
Are we
Also,
doing an intro or what?
We can. Before we start, I did just send my magnum opus TikTok into the chat.
There, I'm recording.
No.
I'll start recording.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Now. I'm at the 45 mark is when I'm gonna be doing this, and that's when you should cut everything.
I'm gonna wait until we actually say oh, we started, and then I'm gonna type the seconds in chat so I don't forget later.
Honestly,
I should remember to do that.
That wasn't as helpful as I thought it would be. I just listened back and synced it myself, so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Don't worry about it.
It's just looping.
Yeah.
What, the TikTok?
It's looping.
Am I wrong? Are you gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong?
You're not wrong, but it's... How long is it?
It's only one video. TikTok's loop, my guy. Just leave.
No, it's all one video.
Wait, so it's just repeating it?
Yes! You dumbass.
Oh my god, I thought it was one thing.
No!
I thought it was like a 10-hour He-Man, hey, yeah.
I'm the youngest baby.
I'm the babies. You're all babies.
You know
Erin.
what? I was born on the same day as Doctor Who, so I might just be the Doctor in disguise.
Guys, okay, I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Out of all of us, there is no doubt in my mind that I have the biggest celebrity to share a birthday with, because I share a birthday with Garfield the cat.
Oh,
What?
fuck.
What?
That's
That's
pretty
true.
dope.
Yeah, so, you know.
I share, okay, but hear me out. I share a birthday with Karl Marx, and I think that's pretty lit.
Well, first of all, I share a birthday with Jesus. Fuck you.
Yes, Karl Marx from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. He was actually in that
Was he
Yes.
actually?
game. He did show up.
A communist in that game?
They put
yeah.
Jack the Ripper as a playable character, and they made it so that Jack the Ripper in Assassin's Creed was like an assassin who went rogue.
Oh,
I
why
hate
am I
that.
not
I mean,
It's
I
stupid.
guess
I
it's
kind of hate that.
fair.
It's kind of terrible. Dude, the best interpretation of Jack the Ripper is still Record of Ragnarok, because he's just like that story actually kind of makes you feel bad for him, but at the same time he's still Jack the Ripper, so fuck him.
You don't like Star Trek's representation of Jack the Ripper?
I didn't even know Jack the Ripper was in Star Trek. I haven't really watched
Okay,
Star
so
Trek.
original series Star Trek, they explained that Jack the Ripper wasn't just a guy who went around killing people. He was a vengeful spirit of, space particles that would possess someone and make them
Midichlorians.
kill a woman. And he was like the embodiment of hate and anger and rage and lust.
Oh, I
He's
love
super
that.
He took
angry.
over the
He's just
ship.
an angry boy.
Should we do an intro?
This is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then there's me in the middle, the chaos.
Dude, we
Wow,
got.
what a great intro. Welcome to 20-something.
Yeah, welcome to 20-something. I almost accidentally spoiled Lucifer, but I didn't. I stopped myself. By the way, sorry, I just noticed in Discord, Nick put where he put his intro was. I didn't do that because I forgot.
No,
Sorry,
that's okay.
I forgot, and I just guessed.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, at a point, I will have to cut this off so we can do the intro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the actual intro.
Oh, I thought we...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Wait, we still haven't done it yet?
I thought we...
Nope.
Okay. Okay, do you want to do that intro now, then?
Welcome, everybody, to 20-something. This is our second episode, and thank you for joining us once again. I'm shocked, but I feel deeply loved. So, I am once again here, joined with Erin. Hello.
Hi, I'm Erin, also known as Pages of Erin on other sources.
We also have our boy Will.
That's me. I'm the boy Will. You know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm still looking for mine.
Also known as Salsaclubpresident on TikTok now, so go spam him with TikToks. And we also have our boy Nick.
Yo, I'm cartoon nickname. Don't look that name up on certain websites.
Why?
But definitely look it
Stop.
up on Tumblr. Definitely look
Yes.
it up.
Definitely look it up on Tumblr. That's where I'm at like 97 followers, so I really
fuck.
want to hit 100.
Oh, hey, well, you got 3 people here, so...
Wait, yeah, bro, wait, I'll go follow you on Tumblr right now. Bet, right on stream. Let's do this.
Fool, I finally have found your Tumblr.
Oh, hey, it's a lot of smut, so have fun with that.
Okay, damn.
Okay, yeah, of course my Tumblr is Salsaclubpresident. I literally only downloaded Tumblr because our mutual Discord friend Usagi put a Persona 5 like tarot card thing in there, and I was curious about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That's
Oh, I love Usagi. She's great. I'm so glad I met her.
She's so
Anyways,
nice.
but now that we have everyone on Tumblr here, but before we actually get started, I'd like to introduce myself. Sup,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Victoria, GhostyStuff, Miss Nancy. You could probably find me in like 30 different places, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, let's get down
All
to the
that
nitty
matters
gritty.
is the here and now. Let's
Exactly.
fucking shoot the shit.
What the hell are we talking about again? Because I kind of lost my train of thought.
We had like a couple of topics, or like, but they kind of were just like, oh, we want to talk about this. Like, I know Nick, you want to do like a mini rant about the Snyder Cut, but Aaron.
I just kind of want to do that because, like, I saw it last night and I got really heated with my brother on it. And it's just
Well,
kinda
let's
like, I
get
need to
heated.
vent.
But wait, first, do you want me to? Because like I know Aaron, you don't know the story of the Snyder Cut because you actually a bit before we started recording, you said you were against like the re-release of movies, but you don't know the full story of the Snyder Cut, do you?
Yeah,
no,
so
if you don't know this.
Okay.
So tell me the lore of the Snyder Cut, because I love like Batman and superhero things and all that, but I'm more of a video games person. I don't watch a whole lot of movies.
I know the lore.
As am I. Yeah. Okay. So the story of the Snyder Cut is interesting because, so obviously originally the Justice League movie that was released in 2017 was being directed by Zack Snyder, who of course did like Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, 300, some other stuff, and it was delayed a lot, and it was very long. Because it ended up being like 4 hours. And as for whether or not there was going to be like 2 separate movies or just like one super long thing is kind of up for debate. But basically, he left filming Justice League in sometime like I think early 2017 or late 2016 because
Didn't he have like a family issue or something?
Yeah, okay, so what had happened was, unfortunately, one of his daughters committed suicide. So, yeah, so obviously he was like, look, I'm not okay right now. I need to focus on my family rather than this movie. So, you know, totally understandable. Yeah, but Warner Bros., they were kind of, from what I understand, they were kind of annoyed because the movie kept getting, like, delayed and stuff. So they were basically, like, instead of just, like, you know, waiting for Zack Snyder to heal from his loss, they were like, hey, you know that Avengers movie? What if we get that director to come in and do a bunch of really weird and unnecessary reshoots and make it a lot more funny, and let's just cut out 2 of the 4 hours, completely redesign the villain, and, you know, make this weird hodgepodge of garbage.
Hey, what's a good idea? How about we get that Joss Whedon guy in here? Isn't he like kind of a goober? I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, don't you see his repertoire of shit?
This was before.
Yeah, this was, I mean, like...
Sure.
Oh yeah, this was briefly before, but anyone that like paid a lot of like attention to him would know that he kind of had a track record of just being a shit. So,
Joss Whedon's never been a good person. Like, that's never been...
Well, it's not even that he was never really a good person. It was also he's just not that good at directing, especially with female actors. Like, it's just
like... I give credit where it's due. Like, I think the first Avengers is really good. I haven't finished Firefly, but I really like what I've seen.
Did he?
But the point is,
direct
like,
the first Avengers?
He created. He directed the first 2 Avengers, and I think he was supposed to direct Infinity War and Endgame, but he dropped out because of some of the reasons that I don't really care about. But point is, 4 years later, after a bunch of this was like actually super cool. This is like one of the nicest things because, you know, comic book fans online can be, as the same with like any fans, they can be pretty horrible. Like, let's just be real. Online. But like the fact that everyone was like, even though Batman vs Superman was like really critically panned, the fact that everyone was like, dude, we still want to see what this guy had to do for Justice League. I think that's really cool. And so 4 years later, he got to release his original vision in the way he wanted to have it shown off. So like the villain Steppenwolf, completely redesigned, actually has really good motivation. He's basically like, if you think about it, he's kind of like a kid trying to impress his dad.
Feels very like Ewan McGregor's Black Mask in a sense, I guess.
Kind of, but I have a funny joke I want to make about that Harley Quinn movie after. But the point is, he got to show his original vision, and it turned out really good. And before, in my opinion, before Nick goes in his thing, I want to say the joke. The joke about the Harley Quinn movie is that I love the fact that if you boil down that movie's plot, it is literally a movie about a bunch of grown adults waiting for a little girl to take a shit.
But
that's a good movie. That's a good fucking movie.
I didn't see Birds of Prey.
You should.
I'm not even gonna give I'm not even gonna give more context to that because obviously there is, but that is the basic premise.
Okay, so hearing the background of why the Snyder Cut happened. All right, I totally get it. I think it's kind of sweet that he actually got his release, his vision.
And
that's great.
I'd like to add this. He dedicated the Snyder Cut to that daughter of his.
Aww.
Well, now I'm just gonna go cry for 20 minutes. 'Cause
Aww.
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's
like.
Yeah, it was a very kind gesture, although unfortunately, fucking Warner Bros. Are like, no, because like now there's being like hashtags release this Snyderverse because they want to see what else he has in store, and so do I. But yeah, no, because like when I first saw that, like, because when I kept hearing about the Snyder Cut, I thought like, really, how much could have been cut? Like really, because like when you hear about like stuff that got cut, it's like
movie.
Yeah, it's like BVS. Like BVS, like, they're like, oh yeah, the cut is so different. Like it's just like 30 minutes of more stuff. But then with Snyder Cut, it's like the villain looks completely different.
Yeah.
Cyborg is basically the main character, which he barely had any like presence at all in the original. I don't even want to call it the original, the Justice League. But then like this isn't even a spoiler because this was literally the first shot of the first trailer for Snyder Cut. They just showed that Darkseid was in it. Darkseid was like name dropped once in the Justice League, but now you actually see him, and it's actually really cool.
Darkseid has like a major role in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I feel like that's
actually
it.
really cool.
I didn't watch the original because
you don't need to.
I didn't watch it.
No.
The reason I didn't watch it is because I saw the huge change that they made to the Amazonians' costumes, and I was just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Well,
I don't even know what that. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Because they had the original costumes. I'm sure they could have just taken them from Wonder Woman and it's fine. But the difference became like, yes, aesthetically, it still looks like a shirt, skirts, whatever, Amazonian, whatever. But at the same time, it went from being relatively efficient. Like, it wasn't just skirts. They had the shorts underneath for mobility. It looked like aesthetically pleasing armor, and then they just changed it to like, yeah, it's just a bunch of strong women in bikinis, and I was just like, this is fucking stupid.
Did they? Because I'll be honest, I remember actually like a teacher, because I was in high school around the time that movie was coming out, and one of my teachers brought that up, and this isn't even me like being like I didn't even notice that, but I think it's also because the main reason I saw Justice League was for Batman, you know. So like,
I think it's honestly sad. I think that some of us get to this point. I'm very desensitized to changes like that or things like that in films. It's like, oh, a scantily clad woman. I mean, what else was a male director gonna like? You know, I shouldn't accept it, but I do.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got, Nick?
The two-bed stutter.
Sorry.
Listen, we won't turn this into a we hate all men conversation. We hate all men except for Nick and Will.
I love and respect most women aside from Amber Heard, rot in hell.
As you fucking should.
Who?
Amen.
She's in the Snyder Cut, and there's a bit where Steppenwolf is like about to kill her. I'm just like, yes.
Do it.
I will say, okay, because like I'm a type of person who I do believe that for the most, like there are some exceptions. I do believe that art should be separated from the artist. You know, like I rewatched Baby Driver a couple days ago with a friend, and you know Kevin Spacey's in that, and obviously he's a piece of shit. That movie is still great.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a good person. But you know, that movie's still good.
Yeah.
But there are obviously like some exceptions, and like I totally forgot that Amber Heard was in Zombieland.
Yeah, right? And
yeah, she's the neighbor.
It hurts.
Yeah, it Amber hurts.
Amber Heard again.
She was Johnny Depp's ex-wife who turned out to be a psycho.
Yeah. Well, isn't their whole business just a lot of back and forth of crazy? I'm not gonna get too into it because I've heard about the stuff that was going on there.
She's
but
terrible. Just
yeah, there was like
she's terrible.
Yeah,
Okay.
there was like audio that leaked of a phone call, and Johnny Depp is all like he's super calm, and he's just being like, look, like you punched me, and then which it was so. It's not funny, but like the fact that she was just like, I didn't like punch you. I hit you. There's a difference. I'm like, no, you still put your hand on him with the intent to hurt him. Like,
yeah,
you know.
That's common stuff that you could see in like a lot of abusive relationships. Before we get into the depth of that, of like, okay,
yeah, we don't.
Amber Heard or whatever the fuck her name is,
Fuck
bitch.
She sucks.
But yeah, it's just like before I wasn't as tuned in to picking out those things when watching movies. I think that became more of a thing when I would watch movies more frequently, specifically the period where I would end up watching the Marvel movies that were getting like freshly released a few years back with a friend, and we would go every time it was like a week or two into premiere. So I was just like super like kind of tuned into that, especially when they write like their female characters, even their male characters sometimes. And
I mean, I've never forgiven what they've done to Black Widow. And just
yeah.
The arc of like, oh, she can't have a kid, she's a monster. That irks me to no fucking end.
That was
like,
stupid.
Oh yeah, that was that thing that happened in Ultron, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that whole thing was
it was,
stupid, and it led to nowhere. And then her entire character arc of not being able to, you know, recover and and have a normal family or be a normal person was completely destroyed by the fact that she got killed off.
She got yeeted.
A dumb reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Age of Ultron.
I mean, I don't know.
Ultron's in it, and Ultron was my favorite Avengers villain as a kid.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I really like Ultron.
Good shit.
I'll say that, like, as much as shit as Age of Ultron gets, like, Ultron was great. I really liked him.
Yeah, Ultron was great.
Ultron's so fucking good. Like, clearly you've never met an omelet. He beat me by 1 second.
I will say, I am super excited though for the Black Widow movie. Because I just like spy stuff, and I like the characters.
I'm nervous for it. I've wanted it for so long, and I love her character so much that I'm just so scared they're gonna ruin
You just
her.
said that it was shit.
I want to watch it, but I hate the fact. I'm sorry, we're supposed to be talking about the Snyder cut, but it's devolved into movies.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's evolved pretty naturally. So
there we go.
I don't think it's.
So, like,
We'll come back to it though, Nick.
we will get back to it. We're only like what 25 minutes in.
20
We'll be
minutes
fine.
in.
We're good.
Wasn't this supposed to be like a 20-minute podcast?
Something.
I think it was supposed to be like.
We'll make it 40 at some point.
Yeah, I think we originally said like 30 with potentially like 45 with overtime.
Yeah.
First episode was 50 minutes.
Was it?
Yeah, but it was good. It was good though.
Yeah, it's fine.
I liked it because like it's not out publicly at the time of us recording this, but I listened to both versions of that first episode, the one with and without music, and I thought it. I think it was really good.
I still need to get around to listening to
I like
it.
the music too. Like I only listened to the music one, but it was good. But let's stop patting ourselves on the back.
Well, I'm gonna let you
amazing.
stroke my ego a little bit more because I edited it. And thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Erin, God
taste.
bless you and the land that you walk on.
Stop. Okay, too much praise. Move on.
Okay.
We're done.
Anyway, so back to what I was saying of just like I want to watch Black Widow, but I can't because of Marvel's just blatant disrespect for this bullshit. Like, are you kidding me? You're like, yeah, we're gonna keep delaying this movie. All right, COVID is all right. That's a fair excuse.
COVID's a very good excuse for everything.
That's fine.
It did it to The Witcher. It did it to all these other things. Like, you know what? Sure.
That is perfectly fine. But then once you finally come out with a release date for this, and you're just like, oh, and you have to pay an extra $30 for this. I'm sorry?
It was $30 extra? Like, is that how much
You
Disney's
have
premiere
to,
access is?
you have to pay an extra amount for it. I don't know if they did that for Raya and the Last Dragon.
They did.
Okay.
That's why it failed.
Also an annoying thing.
Because,
Yeah,
I mean,
there we
they
go.
didn't do it for Soul. Soul did amazing.
Yep.
They're not doing it for the next Pixar film. That's going to do amazing.
Yep.
They did it for Mulan. It sucked. They did it for Raya. It didn't do well.
It's
I
like,
want to see Raya, but I'm not paying extra.
I'm
for
not
that
paying
shit.
for it either, because it's just like, you fucking hypocritical assholes. It's just like, yeah, you're not blatantly being, like, everything that you shouldn't be. But again, you're a production company. You're gonna go where the money goes in the scummiest way possible because you're so big. And the fact that you're going the scummy route of deliberately adding an extra, like, blockade to watching movies that involve main characters that are female or main characters that are minorities and females. We have never had a Vietnam princess. I believe she's Vietnamese, correct? I may be incorrect on that. But at the very least, a South Asian princess. I don't think we've had that yet. At all.
Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry, I just, because, like, that Cruella movie is coming out, or is out,
Oh,
I guess.
my
with,
God.
Emma Stone,
I don't
and
want to talk. Fuck. I do want to talk about
Yeah,
it.
can
But
we
I don't
not?
want to talk about it.
I saw
Fuck,
the
man.
original 101 Dalmatians. Just go watch that.
Yeah,
Very
just watch
stupid.
the OG 101 Dalmatians. That's all you
Okay.
need.
It's
to know
very cute.
Cruella.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not
Cruella's
like,
very good a
Hold
character.
on, let's
No.
let Will say what he wants to say, though.
okay, no, I didn't, like, bring up, like, Cruella to be, like, because I want to talk about, like, the movie specifically, because that movie has, like, the premiere access now, and I just checked my Disney Plus. It is, to rent the movie, or, like, stream it now, it is $35.
No.
Fuck that.
Immediately
No,
no.
no,
Like, it's
yeah,
Disney,
like-
you're so goddamn close.
Yeah, like, why would I pay $35 to watch a movie that's gonna be free to watch on there in, like, 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
that
just
was
an
the case
easy
with
cash
Mulan.
grab, and it feels like it like in its own way of just like self-destructing and like deliberately making these projects fail so you can have justification not to do these projects again.
Not
Like,
only that, I almost wonder if they know in advance, like, oh, we kind of dropped the ball on this movie. Well, let's make people pay for it up front so we get our money's worth, and then it's fine.
Well, I mean,
They probably
Why?
do.
that might explain why Pixar's getting odd ones out, because, like, they do really good.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
Soul was phenomenal.
They didn't make people pay for Soul because they knew it would be a good movie. They put in the effort, but for movies like Cruella and shit, they're like, well, you know what? No. We'll put the facade of effort. We'll make people pay to see it,
Yeah,
and then
like,
we'll reap
it's
the
like,
benefits.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, because I understand that, like, COVID kind of fucked over movie theaters and stuff, and they had to do, like, home releases, and I remember not even being too mad, 'cause, like, I think some of the earliest movies to have home releases were, like, that Invisible Man movie, which is actually pretty good, and, like, some other stuff, and,
Trolls World Tour.
oh yeah, that, but like, those were all, like, I think they were all, like, $20 or so to rent, and as expensive as that is, I did kind of get it, because it's like, they do still need to make money, you know. So I got that to a certain extent, but the fact that it on, like, Disney, because, like, I rented that new Mortal Kombat movie for, like, $20 like,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
You rent
And I was-
out, like, PlayStation Store and whatnot.
Yeah, I think to an extent it's understandable if you go to a movie theater and buy a ticket, sure. But if you're already paying a subscription to something like Disney
Yeah.
Plus, you shouldn't have to pay for the movie.
Yeah, like,
You
by the
just
time,
shouldn't.
because I think Mulan was, like, the first thing they did the premiere access thing with, if I remember correctly. And I remember, okay, but, like, mathematically, I've already paid, like, probably a bit over $100 at this point for Disney Plus in and of itself. So you want me to pay, like, 1/3 of that to watch one movie that sucks?
Yeah,
No.
because they can. They simply can do that. Because they know they have us by the balls.
They're like, some of these companies are so close to having just a complete monopoly. It's terrifying.
It is. And we'll still
That being
sit here
said-
and be like, oh god, Netflix sucks with their originals. But I'm gonna say subscribe.
I Am I the only person who likes a lot of Netflix originals? Not all
I
of
don't
them,
like
but like
them.
some of them are great. Some of
I
them
don't
are
like
okay.
Umbrella Academy is pretty good.
Umbrella Academy is really good.
Lucifer
I think
was
the best.
great. That's an
Oh yeah,
original.
Lucifer
was
is like
great.
semi-original. Lucifer was semi-original because it was on Fox and then it was canceled and then Netflix picked it back up.
Yeah.
And they didn't ruin it. It's still good.
Oh yeah, no. If
Yeah,
anything,
it's not
they made it
what
better.
happened
Like
to Arrested Development.
yeah,
True.
but like Lucifer, like I'd say Lucifer season 4 is like the best season of that show. It's so good.
It was fantastic.
It was great.
Yeah, like,
I enjoyed it.
Every episode was awesome, and then season 5, it's still pretty good. I'll without spoiling it, I'll just say that the second half is much better than the first half.
Okay, good to know, because I've only watched the first episode of season 5.
Yeah, I watched the first bit. I'll be honest. Like it's been a while since Michael was introduced. I just don't like him as a character, and I feel like he wasn't that well written. Like I know he was already someone that was in the comics established to be Lucifer's twin brother and all that stuff, and I was like, all right, cool, fine, I'm fine with that. But did you really have to make him like super creepy on top of being like technically disabled? Like
I don't like him, but I'm kind of willing to accept him just because Tom Ellis looks like he's having a great time.
Oh yeah,
I
he's having
love
a
Tom
phenomenal
Ellis.
time.
He's
I feel
fucking
like
great.
I feel like
he's-
at a point when it comes to series, when it comes to some series, it's just like you've worked really hard to keep the quality of the show, keep everything in check. All right, fine. You try not to disappoint your fans, try to listen to us and all that stuff, and it's like that's perfect, that's great. You've earned the right to have some fun. That's literally your job. Go have fun.
Definitely. I think a lot of actors at some point definitely deserve to just shoot the shit about their character.
Yeah.
Go ham. Have a good time.
Yeah,
It's
it's
your
like
baby
okay.
now.
I have a couple things before I want to say before we get back to the Snyder Cut. I promise. But,
Yeah.
it's like,
after
so-
what you say, well, then we'll go to the Snyder's cut.
Okay, because it's kind of like I recently replayed, as you know, I replayed the entire Mass Effect franchise, including Andromeda, because yes, audience, I am one of the maybe 3 people who am still willing to acknowledge that game's existence. I like it. I don't care. And Vetra is still great. But okay, so in the Mass Effect 3, there's a DLC called Citadel, which is. It's essentially just like fan service, but like really good fan service. Not like Star Wars, where it's like, hey, we referenced the old movies, please like us. It's like, no, there's like a bunch of like funny little lines because it's basically a comedy. And it's so funny because you can just tell that like the actors were having so much fun in the recording booth just doing these funny lines. Like my favorite one is in the games you have like a space hamster. It's literally just a hamster, but for some reason they call it space hamster because you're in space.
Yeah.
And there's a part near the end. There's a part we can go to examine it, and because like the villain kind of like is taking over the ship, and he's like throwing all your stuff away, and you find the space hamster, and he's reading a note, and he's like, please get rid of the hamster because an animal is not a safe place to have on a warship. And then Shepard is just like, oh, that is not okay. They messed with my hamster, guys. Now it's personal.
Oh my fucking god.
He becomes the John Wick.
Yeah, and it literally ends, that DLC ends with you just having a party with the entire cast of the game. Like, not a party that gets interrupted like in Age of Ultron, where like they're having a party and Ultron comes in. Like, no, you're literally just hanging out with the characters you've come to know and love, and it's great voice acting, everyone sounds like they're having a great time, it's awesome.
Really quick on that note, it's not gonna take long. I do want to say that scene of them having like drinks and shit in Age of Ultron is just one of my favorite like feel-good scenes in an Avengers movie. I'm just like, this is nice. They're just hanging out, and I want to see this more. I want to see a day in the life in the Avengers Towers. Like, I want that fan fiction.
That's why I like filler episodes just in anime, like when there's just an episode of Fairy Tail where it's just like, okay, Lucy thinks Natsu has a crush on her, and meanwhile Juvia is making the guild go to shit. That's the episode.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it. I love
the
fillers.
equivalent of episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Just all of it. The entire episode. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's the feel that you can get.
Yeah, because like I'm a big fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and there's a large portion of part 4 of that show where it's just like dealing with stuff that ultimately doesn't have anything to do with the plot, but all the characters are just so much fun. It's great.
Yeah, it's just fun to just have characters just talk.
Yeah.
Just be themselves.
Speaking of characters just talking, alright, Nick, what are your feelings on the Snyder cut of Justice League?
Before, I think we should probably say that, as far as I know, Nick and I are the only one who have seen it.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw
I
it.
haven't watched it. I'll get around to it at one point.
I want to explain why I saw it.
Okay.
Okay.
The only reason why my we all live in Canada and we do not get HBO Max normally. We have to go through Crave and get like an add-on for it.
By the way, audience, we're all Canadians, so if that's a problem, fuck off.
If you hate Canada, stop listening. Go rethink your life. Okay, move on.
Fuck out. Okay, so anyways, my family got the trial for Crave, which we still have, because my family are massive fans of Friends, and they want to see the Friends reunion.
Yes, I heard about that.
I'm not gonna go on about Friends because I know that'll just spawn a tangent. But anyways, I looked at myself and I looked at HBO Max. I thought, well, Godzilla vs. Kong isn't on there anymore because of that was just a month-long thing. And I kind of looked at my brother and I said, look, we got this for about a week. You want to sit down and watch the Snyder Cut? And he was like, yeah. And he had seen the 2017 film. He had seen the theatrical one. I have not. And so we sat down for 4 hours. It was a slog to get through.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it all at once, or did you break it up into parts?
All at once.
Damn.
I had to work at 9:30 in the morning the next day.
Oh.
At the very end, I just kind of
pretty cringe.
I went to my I went to like one of my coworkers and I was like, I saw the Snyder Cut last night. I was like, what'd you think of it? I just looked him dead in the eye and said, meh. And like my parents, when they heard that, they were like, 4 hours and that was your response? I was like, yeah. I mean, like, I can go off and I can get heated about certain things, but then I'm like, well, this was cool. And most of the time that's how it is. It's like, the fight scenes were cool, but the story was just weirdly done.
Okay, well, to be fair with that, it is like a comic. If you look at any comic book movie too hard, like,
there's issues.
All the plots are kind of garbage. Like, you look at, like, Endgame. Endgame's plot on paper is nonsense. It's so stupid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When I was watching it, the only reason I loved it was because of all the other things connected to it. As a standalone movie, I'm not going to watch it a second time, because if I watch it a second time, I'm going to have to really come to terms with all the hate that I have for it now after watching it the first time.
I don't think I would, just because like, I'm willing to forget.
I like silly plots as much as the next guy. Like, I'm a massive fairy tale fan. Plot gets silly sometimes.
Yeah, dude, one of my favorite movie franchises is John Wick, and let's be honest, the plot of that franchise.
And it's
silly,
I
know, but like
it's just
it's
good.
silly. Yeah, it's great. Like I genuinely like. They're honest to God some of my favorite movies. I think Keanu Reeves is unironically like awesome in those, like acting wise in those roles. I think they're all
he's
so
incredible.
Good. Yeah. I remember actually I watched John Wick with a now ex-girlfriend, and she cried when the dog died.
Aww.
And I was like, don't worry, Keanu Reeves is here to, get revenge.
To make it better. But that's
so
just like you can have a silly plot.
It's not the silly plot. It's just that like I'm looking at this and my main issue is that like it clearly was not intended to be a 4-hour movie. Like, I don't care what they were saying in the background about it being two-parters. Like, there's so much of that movie that could have easily have been cut or moved around or put into the next movie.
Okay, I'm going to... Sorry, I just want to say I kind of disagree with that because, let's say it was meant to be two movies. I disagree mostly that most of it could have been cut. Like, maybe some of the slow-mo, you save, like, 30 minutes.
Oh, or especially that movie is 50% slow-mo.
Yeah, that's
I
the Snyder
haven't watched
way.
it, but I've heard of the slow-mo.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder has a tendency in most, if not all, the movies that he's involved with to put a lot of slow-mo cuts. Like, in Sucker Punch, which is one of my favorite movies, I can tell after I kind of also liked watching critique videos about it as well. I could tell by the third fight scene that was in that movie he took it as a like a single shot fight, which honestly it was really well made, but a majority of it was slow-mo. So like it was cool and everything, but if you timed it, that scene could have been taking place within like what 20 seconds or something, but it went down up to a minute. So
Here's my perspective on slow-mo. I think in small doses it's good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I watch a lot of my online university lectures in 1.5 speed. And if I'm watching a movie and I want to speed it up, we have a problem. If my attention isn't caught.
There are some slow-mo scenes in that movie that work, like when they introduce the Flash. Of course, they use slow-mo.
Yeah, because
of course.
Yeah,
that makes
with
sense.
Flash,
Flash.
Yeah, like I remember, because I used to be a big fan of the Flash TV show before it got really
love
terrible.
The show.
I love the show.
I was surprised to learn that wasn't the same guy from the show. I thought that was the point.
Yeah, no. I really liked the Flash show on the CW for the first 2 seasons, but then like seasons 3 and 4 were kind of weird, and then season 5 they introduced a character who I just hated so much. She almost ruined the show for me.
I think I know who you're talking about, and that's valid. Very valid.
Yeah, I won't say who, but I'll just to avoid spoilers for people who for some reason still watch current Flash. But it's just like that character
like,
was
the first 2
so
seasons
frustrating.
Are
oh, dude,
watching.
First 2 seasons are like even like especially the first season. Like that is one of the best, most satisfying season finales of television ever. The first season, so good. But yeah, no, like with the Flash, I think slow-mo does make sense. But like the reason I disagree about the Snyder Cut being 2 movies is because like if you take the first half of that movie, like it would the first half of that movie on its own would be terrible. It would be a terrible movie on its own because like I don't think Bruce Wayne even puts on his bat suit for the first like hour and a half.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't show up as He shows up as Batman in like a flashback to the ending of BVS, and even then you don't see his face.
Can I ask a question on that? Just a really quick question, because I love seeing characters, like especially superhero characters, in their, you know,
sort of casual.
What's it called? In their casual, their like human persona.
In their civilian.
I love that. In their civilian, I love seeing just Bruce Wayne doing Bruce Wayne things. I love seeing Tony Stark do Tony Stark thing. Like, but I feel like
rich
that's
dudes
not
doing
most...
rich civvy things.
I should have used different characters. I just like seeing superheroes and their civilian, you know, lives. But I don't feel like that's very common. I feel like everybody's like, no, I just want to see a Batman, like, go do the Batman things.
Yeah, no, like that's like the first half of the Snyder Cut. It's literally just like long drawn out scenes of them just being in like their casual outfits. Like Wonder Woman's the only one who actually shows up dressed as Wonder Woman.
Which that scene was awesome.
Because she's more scantily clad in her Wonder Woman outfit.
And to be fair,
Aquaman doesn't wear a shirt.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I mean,
we can
he
talk
does
about
get, like,
that.
weird armor.
We can actually. That's another thing that we can talk about. Specifically, male gaze on female and male characters, which is a really important distinction that I feel like a lot of people forget sometimes.
I saw the Lindsay Ellis video. I know things.
There we go.
I can actually bring up that I don't know if you remember the fire punch thing I brought up last week. I can bring that up at some point then.
Oh yeah. But continue on with what you were feeling about the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, no, just because I feel like the first half of that movie on its own, like, would be terrible. Because again, like, there's barely any action. There's like no resolve. But like with that extra 2 hours, I do think that it adds a lot, and I think the movie does flow a lot better as the 4 hours than it would as 2 separate movies.
My issue is that like so many like just entire characters show. Can I just say this right now? What the fuck was Martian Manhunter doing in like
Martian Manhunter was in it?
He's in it, and he is in like the most pointless way. Like, okay, here's the scene. I'm gonna tell you the scene because this drove me nuts.
Paint us a picture of one of my
Lois
favorite
Lane,
leaders.
who also like should not really be in the movie. Like, she should be cut until Superman comes back. Lois Lane is brooding because Superman's dead, and in comes Martha Kent, like the woman who stopped Batman from killing Superman because they share the same name, and she goes up to him and she has this super heartfelt speech about like, I go every day and they talk about how they knew Superman, they felt like they knew him, and like they didn't know Clark Kent, they didn't know my son, and they don't know how proud I am of my son. And she has this heartfelt moment that I really felt for, and it gave like a great insight into Martha's character. Martha leaves, she hugs Lois Lane, closes the door, changes into the fucking Martian Manhunter, and then he's like, the world needs you, Lois, and they just go dicks off.
What? Why?
You ruined it! You ruined the entire thing! You had like this brilliant scene, because Martha Kent is in the movie earlier because she had to sell the house because like the bank foreclosed on it, and it like that would have been great.
That is kind of like we talked about this this moment in Detroit Become Human last week off mic, but that moment in that scene is like the twist in Kara's part of Detroit, where you find out that Alice, spoiler alert for Detroit Become Human, where you find out that Alice is an android, because it's like everything up until that point was pretty good, actually.
It's worthless.
You can spoil the shit out of that game. It's been out for like 2 years or something, so it's whatever.
It's been out for way longer than that.
It's been out for 3.
For a while.
But the point is like, it's great, and then that twist happens, and it's just like, okay, well now I just care so much less.
Cause like now there's just like this great speech from Martha Kent, and like it was meaningless because it was just the Martian Manhunter. I like the Martian Manhunter scene at the end because he gets the very last scene after so many epilogues, which I need to get to. I need to talk about the goddamn epilogue. But he gets the final scene where Bruce kind of comes up and he sees this floating image, and my first thought was like, oh, it's Superman. It's like, no, it's the Martian Manhunter.
He's like, yo, I can show up for any sequels.
Yeah, no, and he goes to Bruce and he's like, you did good. Like, you stopped Steppenwolf, and like you got
did
them
good,
together.
son.
And, like, I want
Did
to
you win? You won.
You won, son.
You
Let's
won,
go.
son. That's essentially the scene, and he flies off, and I'm like, okay, 1, that's a perfect post-credit scene, because 1, it builds up, and 2, it closes on Bruce's, I guess, arc that
also,
is really there.
No one cares, like, really, if you reveal a cameo of someone in a post-credit, like, if Thanos just showed up at the end of the first Avengers, like, not during a post-credit scene, I don't think it would be nearly as cool.
No. Because the thing is, the whole point of post-credit scenes is to show what's happening in the background, or what is approaching, but it's not quite there yet. And it gives,
like, a reward to those who wait.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
Because if you added, like, the majority of, like, Marvel post-credit scenes to the end, like, as the actual ending to the movies, most Marvel movie endings would suck. Like, Doctor Strange, if the Doctor Strange post-credit scene was just the straight up the ending of the movie right before the credits roll, people would hate that.
Yeah, because it just
terrible.
randomly, because it has like this great bit where Doctor Strange like stands solemnly. I think I haven't seen it in a while, and then it just randomly just cuts and there's Thor and he's talking about Ragnarok, and it's just building up that.
Yeah,
but like
it gives you time to pause. It just gives you time to pause, separate that of just like, okay. Yeah. This intro to this character,
because like I know I always talk praises about the MonsterVerse, but the MonsterVerse does post-credit really well, because like they have the whole movie, and then they show the credits, and then at the end of like Kong Skull Island, they're like, Kong's not the only king, and there's like pictures of Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and the king of the monsters himself, and that builds up the next movie.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
And then the next movie, that post-credit scene is like, here's the head of Ghidorah, like he's still alive, like he is still alive, he is still around, and like if they attack that onto the ending of King of the Monsters, which by the way is an amazing ending, where Godzilla reclaims his throne, goes full on Conan, and like makes the other Titans bow before him, and he roars into the sun. Like if they had just randomly cut to him just being there, like it would have like lost all of it.
Yeah, it would have felt like a betrayal to his entire, I guess, his arc, or like, at least his power. So.
Yeah, because post-credit scenes, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, I just want to clarify, the post-credit scene I was talking about for Doctor Strange was not the one with Thor, it was the one with Chiwetel Ejiofor taking that guy's ability to walk away. Like, if that was the ending.
Which one?
Yeah, there's like two.
Like,
right.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Like, if that was the ending, people would just be like, people would be so mad. But like, because the whole point of
God, it's
post-credit
been a
scenes
long
also,
time since I've seen a
Yeah.
Doctor Strange that movie. I gotta go back and rewatch that.
Yeah, because like post-credit scenes are basically Marvel's way of like
Hooking you in.
giving cliffhangers without feeling like they cheated the audience. Because
Which they cheat the audience frequently with their bullshit plot twists.
Which, by the way, is the entirety of like the majority of the epilogue to the Snyder Cut. Bringing it back around.
That
so much of the epilogue.
Yeah, because it's like the same. It's the same issue I have with like the Yakuza games, because pretty much, and this is like I'm comparing this like to the Snyder Cut, where like a lot of the time, like pretty much all the Yakuza games ends with the main character Kiryu seemingly dying, only for there to be like a 10-minute epilogue where at the end it's like, psych, he's still alive. Like Yakuza 3 ended with not Yakuza. Yakuza is not a character.
With Yakuza.
It ended with with John Yakuza, of course. With Kiryu. It like Yakuza 3, spoiler, it ends with Kiryu getting stabbed in the middle of the street and then cutting to credits. And then there's like and then there's a post-credit scene being like, psych, he's still alive and he's back running the orphanage, bitch. It's like, well, why would you leave that for a post-credit scene?
It just
so
makes
stupid.
it a pointless ending. That's so weird.
Yeah, and like the epilogue of. I want to get on to that.
Yeah, we'll get to the epilogue because we should wrap it up at this point.
We're reaching 50 minutes, so
yeah.
we'll make the epilogue of Snyder Cut the epilogue of this episode.
Very. Well, I mean, we need to have like 5 epilogues then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because there is like 5 epilogues.
I think we already have had 5
goddamn
epilogues.
Yeah. Because I also want to. Okay, I'm gonna let Nick say his points, but like I do want to talk about Jared Leto.
Oh god, Jared Leto, fucking Jared Leto.
No,
okay,
make your point before I go into my tangent.
Okay. Nick, go ahead.
It ends with this. Before the epilogue, there's this great bit where like Cyborg completes his arc, which is probably the only arc in the movie, because most of Aquaman's early scenes are just building up his solo movie. I hear it's good, whatever. But Cyborg like listens to this recording of his father talking about truth and justice and yada yada yada, and like it ends with Superman ripping open his chest to reveal the S. And it's like, it's really cool. And then the epilogue just has like this scene of Lex Luthor calling Deathstroke, and he's like, hey, we should make a team of our own, yeah, his name is Bruce Wayne. And then okay, that was stupid, but it was short. And then it's like, what was next? Wasn't it like, was it right then to the apocalypse shit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was kind of like abruptly cuts to, by the way, here's the post-apocalypse, and
which goes on for like 10 minutes. And it's
That's
just
too
like,
long for a scene in an epilogue.
Which doesn't even technically exist anymore, because the whole point of it is to avoid that. And so like it's just Batman in this apocalypse talking to Jared Leto Joker, and then there's evil Superman, who was already teased earlier because there was a flashback in like the middle point of the movie where it showed like when they were reviving Superman, that showed like, he might go insane, he might start killing us, Darkseid might turn him, and it's like, it's all just build up to like Darkseid and evil Superman coming in and invading, but like you didn't need that because you already had all the Darkseid build up you needed when Steppenwolf was killed, because like, there's this bit when they kill him, they shoot him back through the portal, and like Wonder Woman takes her sword and like beheads him midair, and then Steppenwolf's head rolls into the portal in front of Darkseid. Darkseid just crushes his head under his
fucking
foot,
awesome.
And he's
it was
like,
awesome.
Yeah, in a great scene, and Darkseid's just like, and like Darkseid's right hand is like, I told you he would fail, and Darkseid's like, yes, you did. Prepare the Armada, we're going to Earth, and he's like, but Earth is defended, and he's like, anti-life is there, my prize is there, we will reclaim it, and that's all you need.
That little monologue sounds like a good ending. Like that's all you need. You don't need to go off anymore.
Like if anything, that should have been the post-credit scene along with the Martian Manhunter scene. But no, they're in this epilogue. That would
have been too Marvel, obviously.
But can I also just say, quick design plot? Like you said, they redesigned Steppenwolf for this movie. I thought his armor was cool, but every time I looked at his eyes, I thought he looks like a Disney character from like Bambi. His eyes are too doughy.
Oh my god.
Like they're too doe-eyed and big, and I'm like, I feel like he's gonna start singing like
Hell yeah. I want him to sing like Africa by Toto, just in the middle, beating the shit out of people. That'd be great.
Just like sing a love song about how much he loves Darkseid, like, oh Darkseid.
It's like just the two of us.
It's been a love story all this time.
Yeah.
Hope to meet you at the dark side of the moon. Hey.
Yeah. Okay. We do need to wrap up soon. But I just want to say
you get your 5 minutes of Joker.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. I don't know how you can take that long, but like it's just I don't know why Jared Leto is so terrible as Joker. Because
He's
like
I don't like his Joker at all.
I just don't him.
Okay, no, I'll be honest. I don't know why I'm saying I'll be honest. Like I'm about to say something controversial. Like no, I don't like the way. I don't know how true all of it is, obviously, but like you hear the stories about him on Suicide Squad about how he sent like used condoms and like dead rats, which like obvious. Look. Okay, I get being committed to the bit. Don't be committed at the expense of your co-stars.
Don't be committed to the point where they have to file harassment. Like, see,
Amen.
Like, you're on a set with Viola Davis, Will Smith, Margot Robbie. Like, have some fucking, respect, sir.
Class.
Yeah, like, I'm convinced that when he was prepping for Morbius, he probably actually was drinking blood. You know? I wouldn't put it past him. But, because here's the thing. Say what you want about Jared Leto's, like, method acting. I don't like the extents to which he goes, because I feel like, you know, like, you should understand that you're just making a movie.
There has to be a difference between the character and the actor, or else, like, what the fuck is the point of movies? And we just have crazy people.
But here's the thing about Jared Leto. Jared Leto, whatever you want to say about him, objectively speaking, he is a fantastic actor. Like, all the movies he's in, except for Suicide Squad, maybe a couple that I can't think of, he's great in them. I don't like what he does, but, you know, credit where it's due, he convinces me. And so when I've heard that he was cast as Joker, I thought it was perfect. I thought, man, he's going to be awesome. He's not going to be any like Heath Ledger or Mark Hamill, but he's going to be pretty good. And then I saw Suicide Squad and the tattoos and all that bullshit. And then they redesigned him in the Snyder Cut, and he actually looks better. But he looks
like budget Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah, but it's the laugh.
It's the laugh.
I don't know why
he's
like
everything. It sounds like he has a disease.
Like every Joker always gets the laugh down. Like Jack Nicholson had the laugh down because he was kind of like still a sane Joker. Like he wasn't straight up crazy, but he still had like it was Jack Nicholson.
I'm forever in awe of Mark Hamill's Joker.
Mark Hamill is phenomenal.
Mark Hamill.
He's incredible.
Mark Hamill is the best Joker. I can say that. I can say that confidently. Like
Mark Hamill is the best Joker, and then Heath Ledger.
And then Heath Ledger for sure.
Yeah, Heath Ledger is like phenomenal, and Heath Ledger was a method, but not at the expense of anyone else.
He did method acting right.
Apparently, whole camera scene was like he took a camera, couple guys, and he just recorded it and like gave it to Nolan. And he said, "Here you go," and like Nolan was like,
which I kind of love.
Fuck?
He was just kind of like, "Here, it's a gift." It's like when a cat brings you a dead bird.
Like,
just gave him the footage.
Leto gives people dead rats. Ledger gives people amazing footage.
Yeah, you never hear stories about like Christian Bale being like, oh yeah, I think fucking Heath Ledger was a bit too crazy on set. Like no, like when they announced The Dark Knight Rises or like showed off the first trailer and they were honoring Heath Ledger, like Christian Bale was crying because they're like, yeah, no, I miss him. It's like I like that.
Well, that's the thing. I'm just like you have what you see during filming, and actors that are professional in their work can make the difference between when they are doing their job and acting and having respect for their coworkers. Even to the point where, like, I will say for, like, let's say Birds of Prey. I know we're going off. We're going off now. Sorry, but
no, it's fine.
I will say one thing that I do love about when they were making Birds of Prey is that Margot Robbie was talking about while she was filming one of the scenes with Chris Messina, who is playing Victor Zsasz, and I think it was specifically the scene where Harley was like paralyzed in the middle of this fucking, I forget what the place is called, and Zsasz was being his crazy self, and when the shot ended, he was just like, hey, is this too much? And she was like, no, you're doing great, keep going. Like, fucking do whatever. It's just like, yeah, he knows when to stop and when to make sure, hey, are you comfortable with this?
Yeah, no, like,
Even
that was
though we're
the thing
doing a
with,
job.
like, the first It movie, when, like, the guy playing
Yeah.
scaring a literal child, and he was like, am I going too far? Are you scared, kid? He was like, no, it's great. And he's like, and he's like the guy playing Eddie, the scarediest of the scaredy cats, and he was like, yeah, no, this is perfect.
Could you imagine Jared Leto as Pennywise?
No.
I feel like I would
he'd
infinitely hate him
so
more.
many lawsuits. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Can I just say, like, if they should have gotten anyone for the Snyder Cut, like, get fucking Joaquin Phoenix. Because, like, that was the
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
that would have been
no,
fine. Like, even if I...
Okay, but here's the thing about Joaquin Phoenix. It's like Joaquin Phoenix was not interested in joining a cinematic universe. He just wanted to do that kind of one-off.
You know what? That's fair, because we always have
I
like a
respect
billion
that.
iterations of
Yeah.
Joker. Having one that is not the same as the Justice League one, or at least the DCU version, it's just like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
And,
do
like,
your version, you have fun, and then fuck off, do your own thing. Like,
And that was another instance of someone playing the Joker who didn't become an asshole. I mean, like, there was kind of like that Jimmy Kimmel thing where, like, I guess there was like footage of Joaquin Phoenix being like kind of giving like a lighting guy some shit, but apparently the lighting guy or whoever this was kind of fucking up. So
Yeah, it's like the Christian
I mean,
Bale
also,
rant.
surely,
Yeah.
we can all remember the Christian Bale rant.
I never
Come on.
listened to
Sometimes
it,
Yeah, but
actors
no,
have
okay.
a hard day.
I don't mean like Joaquin Phoenix was like looking at this lighting guy like, what the fuck are you doing? You should fucking end your existence, you miserable waste of life. No, like, he was literally just being like, can we just take this a bit more seriously, please?
Yeah, no.
Like, kind of
That's
more
fine,
passive
yeah.
aggressive.
You get fed up
No,
sometimes.
he wasn't like. Yeah, which, like, I get that, fair enough. Like, at work, people will often look at me and be like, hey, you look kind of pissed. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I have disinfectant in my eyes and I want to die.
Aw, buddy, no.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'm mostly joking.
it's just like,
Kind of,
you're
maybe.
running, like, some people have low energy when it comes to social interaction. Some people have a longer bar. But at some point,
Yeah.
it's gonna run out, and you need to
Everybody's
recharge.
bar runs out eventually, for sure.
Especially if you're constantly interacting with people and like in the limelight 100% of the time.
Well, yeah, because you're expected to uphold certain, like, tendencies and personalities, and you're expected to have all this energy and be super grateful and super funny and talented. Like, let them be human for 5 minutes. Calm down.
Yeah. Like, I was at work yesterday and it was towards the end, and I don't want to say what I do just in case.
Yeah. This will be, by the
but,
way,
like-
this will be our last thing, and then we gotta end it here.
Yeah, but like this guy who what I do kind of requires me to be partnered with someone else, and he actually might listen to this because he was asking about it. So if he's listening to this, please don't do this again. Because I listen to like a podcast or something when I'm working, because what I do usually doesn't require me to talk to people, so I usually just have like one earbud in and I'll listen to a podcast. And I listen to like comedy podcasts, so every now and then I'll like laugh, and he'll see me like laughing, and he'll just be like, the first time he was like, hey man, did you just laugh? I'm like, oh yeah, listening to a podcast. And then every time he saw me laughing, he would ask, yo, did you just laugh? And I'm like, yeah, still listening to the podcast. And it got to the point where I was literally like, dude, if you see me laughing, you can just assume I'm listening to the podcast still. And then he asked me if I could do a TikTok dance and if he could record me, and I just said no. No. Yeah.
Wow. What a
He also
what a
just
ball
out of the
worker.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I like
he was
him.
kind of honestly like, yeah, no, like, no offense, I won't say his name, but if you're listening to this, you know who you are. You're nice and all. That was very annoying.
All right.
Yeah. But
So-
anyway, all this to say that, we live in a society.
God damn it. All right. I'm ending this.
He said
now.
it. He said the thing.
So thank you
He said
for
the
listening in on this episode of 20 something. So we're just gonna end it here. It's been us. So send out your show soul links.
It's been a gas, folks.
It's been 20 something, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yup,
if you wanna check out all of our social links individually, they'll be in the description down below. You know where to go. But anyways, it's been Victoria, GhostyStuff. You know, exit out, people. I'm not doing it for you.
It's been great, folks. It's been great. I've been Erin.
Yeah, it's been a thing, that's for sure. Be sure to, get needles injected into you and get a vaccine as well.
Yeah, get your vaccines, people. I swear to God.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Yeah.
Or your Coca-Cola. I have a Coca-Cola sweater, so
Oh my
if you
God.
want, if you
All
want to
right,
get us a
bye,
Coke
no
sponsorship,
more.
that's fine.
Bye.
Bye.
We're stopping.